Hello, Angel. This is the second half of the notes for 3-3. We're going to start at the bottom of the first page, which is x-intercept form. Actually, before that, let's go to these other forms, vertex form, okay? This function, let's just talk through these. This function right here is a quadratic, okay, but it is in vertex form. That function is really nice for finding the vertex. The vertex is the easiest to find when it is in vertex form, okay? When it's in standard form, when it looks like this, which one is the easiest to find when it's in that form? Y-intercept. The y-intercept, right? It's just that last number, okay? Versus this one is x-intercept form. I call it factored form, however you want to call it, because it's factored down, okay? So, yeah. Good? Really? Factored form. I'm going to show you an example, okay? Example down here. Example 3, the x-intercept form or factored form. Here is an example of this, okay? Now, just so you know, these two are factored down. This negative 1/2, let's talk about what he does. Like if you're multiplying by a negative 1/2 out in front, what does that do to it? The negative is going to flip it down, so it's over the x-axis, right? So it's flipped down. But what's the 1/2 do? It's a vertical compression. So it's actually going to make the function fatter or wider, actually. Shorter and wider, okay? But that is not going to change. If you ever have a number in front of here, it is not going to change these values, which are your x-intercepts, okay? It should not change those, all right? So they want us to, again, find the vertex, the x-intercepts, and the y-intercepts, okay? All right, let's do the easy one first. This is the easiest to find the x-intercepts for, okay? Because I just set the factored pieces equal to 0. Again, that negative 1/2 is not doing anything. If I set this guy equal to 0, x is equal to 4. If I set this guy equal to 0, x is equal to -2, yeah? Okay, all right, so that's the easiest one to find, all right? And then let's do the y-intercepts next, okay? How do you find y-intercepts? No. How do you find x or y-intercepts? If it's not easy, you plug 0 in for the opposite one, right? So I'm going to plug 0 in for x. I'm going to do negative 1/2. 0 minus 4 times 0 plus 2, okay? This is negative 1/2. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. 0 plus 2 is 2. What's negative 1/2 times 4? This is positive 2, and positive 2 times another positive 2 is 4. So the y-intercept will be at 4, okay? Now, here's the vertex is going to be the hardest part, but it's really not that hard, okay? Here we go. Ready? Let's plot the other two things that we know. 4 is this guy, and negative 2 is this guy. Those are my intercepts, right? And then positive 4 is my y, where it hits the y-axis, okay? Let's talk about the vertex, folks. We know this is going to be a parabola. What do you got?
Because we know that you can find the other side, right? So it's 2, 4.
Okay, so he says, like, you got this guy, you've got this guy. Like, there has to be a dot there, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with that, okay?
So, because it's 1/2, then you know that where...
But I don't know if it goes, like, all the way up here or if it's down here. Like, I don't know where that's at.
You can.
Kind of. Now, here's the deal. The really nice thing that we know is that a parabola is going to be symmetric, right? If I know that this guy is at -2 and I know this is at 4, my vertex should be halfway between those two. Or in other words, finding the average of the x-intercepts. If I average those x-intercepts, -2 and 4, how do you find the average of two numbers? You add them and divide by 2, right? What's -2 plus 4 divided by 2? 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So I know for sure that my my vertex is going to live on that line somewhere, okay? Now, I don't know if he's like here, or maybe he's a decimal there. I don't know for sure, right? But I know that the x-coordinate's going to be 1. I did that by finding the average, right? So for the vertex, I'm going to write that up here at the top. Vertex, to find the x-coordinate, you average your, I'm going to say the zeros. I'll call them zeros. So you average your zeros together, right? My zeros were 4 and -2. I just find the average of those because it has to be halfway between, right? How do I find the y-coordinate?
I feel like we've done this before.
I guess.
We did that yesterday, right? Like negative b over 2a was what we used. How did we find the y coordinate after we did negative b over 2a? Plug it in to find the y coordinate, right? Okay, that's the same thing we're going to do here. So we're going to plug him in to find the y coordinate. We know that it's at 1. We're going to plug it into this equation to find the y coordinate, all right? So negative 1/2 times 1 minus 4 times 1 plus 2. All right, let's do some math. Negative 1/2. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 1 plus 2 is positive 3. Okay? Negative 3 times positive 3 is negative 9. What's negative 1/2 of negative 9? Positive. What's half of 9? 4.5, right? It's up at 4.5. So 1 is at 4.5. So I'm going to erase these dots right here. 4.5 is right there. There's where my vertex is located. Okay? If you're ever trying to find the y coordinate, you just plug it into the original equation. But how did we get the x coordinate? It's the average of these two. It's got to be right in the middle, right? Okay? So this is what my parabola is going to look like. And I'm going to list my vertex over here at 1, 4.5, yeah? Okay, do you see how we get that information? All right, so the vertex is really not that hard to find. You just have to average the x coordinates, all right? Average the x-intercepts. Good, good? Yes? That's a lot of information. All right, here we go. Let's go down to example 4 and example 5 are going to be similar to each other with a couple differences. We're only going to do a couple of these, okay? They say write the following functions in polynomial and in x-intercept form, okay? So polynomial is that standard form, all right? Standard form. Do we have any of these A, B, or C in standard form already?
Yeah.
Which one? B is in standard form, right? What is A in?
Other form. X-intercept.
Vertex form, right? Vertex form. What is about C? X-intercept form or factored form? X-intercept or factored form. Okay? That's what those guys are. All right, now, let's say, so this one's already in standard form. Let's say I want to transfer these to standard form. How do I put those in standard form?
Boil it all out. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, we're going to FOIL out the x minus 3, right? Okay, if I FOIL out x minus 3 squared, x minus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, what will that end up giving me? X squared minus 6x plus 9, right? Okay, now I'm going to distribute the 4 or the 0.4 through those pieces now, right? So I've got 0.4 x squared. Do you know what 0.4 times negative 6 is?
0.2?
No,
two.
no. What's 4 times 6?
24.
24. So this is
2.4.
2.4. So negative 2.4x. What's 0.4 times 9?
3.6.
3.6. Okay, but then I have to add 2 on the end of it, right? So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to call this 5.6. This is now in standard form. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay, good, good. All right, now we want to do the same thing for this bottom one here, right? Same thing for that bottom one. How do we do that?
Boil it out.
I'm going to FOIL first actually and then distribute the negative 2 because here's what I have happen a lot. I have people that start distributing this negative 2 and they get crazy and they distribute it everywhere. If you distribute the negative 2, you can only distribute it for the first 2, right? You can only go that way. So let's FOIL first and then let's distribute. So negative 2 is chillin'. What is that become? X squared and then what? You'll have a minus 4x or plus 2x. Minus 2x, right? And then minus 8, okay? Now let's go ahead and distribute the negative 2 through. That will become negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 16, yeah? Good? Good, good?
You'll fill up my water bottle?
Can you fill up your water bottle?
Yep.
Sure, go fast.
We better pause because he needs this.
You think so? All right, now let's do this. Okay, let's just do. So they want also x-intercept form, which is factored form. Okay, they want this also in factored form. So let's take this top one and let's put him in factored form as well. We want to factor him down. What?
I do not have room.
You do not have room?
I do not
Okay.
have room.
I want to be able to factor him down. So what I can do, I want this to just be x squared. So I can't divide out a 0.4 because it's not equal to something, but I can pull a 0.4 out in front.
But
Okay,
what if you
so let's
do
do that. Let's pull a 0.4 out in front. We have x squared
That's the same thing.
minus, what is, it's not the same thing because we added the 2 afterward.
Basically.
Almost. What is 2.4 divided by the 0.4?
0.6?
Minus 6x, okay? What is 5.6 divided by 0.4?
Yeah, we're gonna choose 6x.
Yeah, where'd the six-
I think it's 14.
Oh, because you pulled the 0.4 back out.
I don't know. Is it 14?
So it's
Something like that.
So we're dividing each one of these by 0.4 so that we just have x squared. You see that? Okay.
what do you have 14?
I don't know. Is 5.6 divided by 0.4, is that 14?
Are you struggling?
No, it should be 9, shouldn't it?
No.
Oh, it should be 11.
It should be like 14.
It should be 11, shouldn't it?
No. Yes.
Because if you got 2 and 9,
It's 14.
5.6 divided by 0.4.
56 divided by 4.
56 divided by 4 is 14.
I don't believe it. It's actually
Erica?
40.
No.
Oh, I put 56, not 0.5.
Okay, so 14, there it is, right? Okay, now the last thing we want to do is factor him down. Is he a simple trinomial? Multiply to get 14, add to get negative 6. I don't know. 2 and 7? I don't think that works. I don't think that works.
So we have to do the.
So, no, because he doesn't factor down any more than that.
So we're good. It's done.
Because it would be a decimal if he factored it down. So we're just going to leave it the way that it is. But if in factored form, if you were switching to factored form, you would continue on and you would do the 2 bubbles, right? We're just going to leave it this way because otherwise we're going to end up with really ugly decimals in our bubbles, right? What?
So what was the purpose?
So if we had an opportunity to do just a complex trinomial, could you just do a complex trinomial and
Yes. Yes. So we could have done it, like tried to do a complex trinomial in this one, but it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. Because if it doesn't work when we pull the 0.4 out, it's not going to work when we do, right? So that's not going to work.
Eric's trying
Okay?
fight me right now. I do
All
not
right,
agree
good.
with
Happy with that?
Can we call it a day?
We
Let's
still
do-
have to, we have to do B. We have to turn that into, don't we?
B?
Don't we have to put it into X?
Yeah, oh yeah. Into x-intercept form?
What's the purpose? What's the point?
Yeah. We have to factor him down.
Is that circle?
Part B, yeah, we've got to put him in factored form because C was already in factored form. So we'll put B in factored form. What do you want to do?
Just pull out a 3.
Can we pull out a 3 out of each thing? Okay, so pull a 3 on front. X squared is left over. If I take a 3 out of 3.9, what's that become?
1.3.
1.3, okay. X minus 43.2 divided by 3
I have no clue.
is 14.4. Check me.
How do you do that?
Here you go. Ready? 43.2 divided by 3. Ready? It goes into the 4 once with 13 left over, right? Because that would be the next one. 3 goes into 13 4 times. That's 12 with 1 left over. So another 12
What?
I know, but how do you do that just like in your head?
because I round numbers all day long. 14.4.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, it is 14.4. No, I haven't done this. The last time I did this lesson was 2 years ago. So anyway.
2 years ago?
No, last year. Not last year. Okay? Whatever. Okay, now, is there something, this is really ugly. Is there something I can multiply to get 14.4, but I add them to get 1.3?
I don't know.
How do you even figure that out?
Do you use your brain calculator and do
Yeah, just think.
My brain calculator into it.
it?
Well. If you don't like looking at decimals, this would be what do we add to get 1440, but when we, or multiply to get 1440, but when I add them, give me 13. Okay, you move the decimal 2 places on this one, but 1 place on that one.
Why?
Because you move the decimal 2 places here when you're multiplying, right? And only 1 place here. Correct?
Why only one there?
Because, like, let's say this is like 0.7 and 0.6, right? Like, that would make 1.3, right? But 0.7 times 0.6 is 4, 2, which has 2 decimal places, right?
Oh.
2 decimal places here versus 1 decimal place here when you add, yeah?
Oh my God.
So that's how that's just the way that math works. I don't know. Anyway, so add to get 13, but multiply to get 1440. Okay, so I'm going to do this weird because add to get 13. We could have 1 and 12. We could have, oh, but it's got to be negative. Crap. So that's not going to work. That's not going to work. 1440.
Can't you act like they're both positive and they're both negative?
You were just like
No, because one has a positive.
Yeah, one's you are so smart.
1440.
I just complimented you.
Does 20 goes into 1440 how many times? 70.
Stop. Ain't no way you just did that.
Take 1440 divided by 20. Get your calculators out. Somebody go.
72.
72. That's not going to work. Let's go 40. 1440 divided by 40.
36.
No, it's not. Is it really?
Yes.
36. So we need a bigger split than that.
Divided by 60.
Let's go 42.
24.
42 divided by?
Decimal.
Is it a decimal? Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
44.
Decimal.
45.
Oh yeah, that's the
32.
one.
45 and 32.
That's the one.
Ha! We got it. Yes. Woo! Okay. So it's actually 4.5 and 3.2. Right? 4.5 and 3.2. So I have the 3 still chilling, right? Here's my 2 bubbles. Okay? I want it to be a negative 1.3. So x minus 4.5 and x plus 3.2. Yeah? Oh, good heavens. That was a lot. No, I'm not going to give you you have to do this process on your homework, but not to this ugly decimal level. Correct. Okay?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay, does that make sense? So this is what he looks like in factored form. Very, very yucky. Very, very yucky. Okay? There it is. That is factored form. So that's how you go back and forth between the two. Okay, now this is the maybe ickiest of all. Maybe not ickiest of all. Maybe not ickiest of all. Okay? This is going to transformation form, which is vertex form. Okay? This is the one I don't like the most. Vertex form. I don't like this one the most. Okay? So let's talk about what form they're in right now. Like A is in what form?
Don't know.
The
Standard form. B is in factored form or x-intercept form, right? Okay? And we want to put them in vertex form. Are you ready for this? I don't like either one of these examples. Do you have an example from your homework assignment where I make it put you in vertex form? We'll do one of your homework assignments. Does it say put it in vertex form?
Okay, f of x
Okay?
equals x squared plus 4x minus 5.
Okay, so this is your homework assignment, right? X squared plus 4x minus 5, and I want you to put it in vertex form. That means it's going to be like something squared plus or minus something, right? Like that's what he's going to look like in the very end. Vertex form. Get that in your brain. Like that's the setup that we want to eventually have happen. Okay? All right. I want to break this down somehow, some way, so that I eventually get to something squared. Kind of like we do when we're completing the square. Okay? Now, here's the deal. Are you ready for this? This is the confusing part. We are going to be completing the square, and usually when we're completing the square, we have x squared plus 4x plus blank, and then we have equals 5 plus blank. Here's what we're going to do that's a little bit different. Are you ready? So we're going to add the blank here. We're going to keep the negative 5 on the same side, but we're going to subtract the blank over here so that they're both on the same side. Does that make sense? Yeah, they're all on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm adding a number here and I'm subtracting that same number there so that it remains balanced, right? That's how this works.
So don't even
Okay.
do it in the first place.
No. We have to in order to be able to break it down. So you'll see. Just hold on just a second. Okay? I want to just focus in on this part right here. Okay? I want to be able to break him down into 2 pieces so that eventually he will be broken down into this squared. What will that look like? I have to multiply to get this number, add to get 4. X plus 2 and x plus 2. Okay, so this is x plus 2 squared, right? But if I add, if 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 times 2 will be, this guy will be
4.
plus 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 over here, right? So this is x squared, x plus 2 squared, and then what goes here?
Minus 9.
minus 9. Now he's in vertex form and he's done.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what if it's
Like, what's that?
negative x minus 4 and x plus
Then you pull a negative out in front of the whole thing. And then you do your same setup again.
Can we
Get minus
just do
9
it so
from?
I can visually see it?
Negative 5 minus 4.
What does another 4?
What?
Where'd you get
not for?
minus 9 from?
Because the negative 5 is there and then you have to subtract 1 from it.
And then there's another 4.
Where?
4 we used for the.
This was your trinomial,
That
which we
was-
broke down
that's
into this piece, right? This was a part of your trinomial. We broke down into this piece. And then this becomes a 9. Yeah?
So this is that one thing we
Okay.
did on the test class. Like what we did.
Kind of.
So
Whatever
why?
that is, I don't know what it's called.
Completing the
next
square.
one?
Complete the square, yeah. Yeah. Alright, what was the other one?
Negative.
This is a homework problem, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Negative
I just did a homework problem.
X minus 4 parentheses.
Okay, no. Wait, what was it? Negative parentheses.
Parentheses x minus 4 parentheses other parentheses x plus 2.
Okay. Good? Yeah?
I was doing my thing.
Alright, so this is in factored form. We want to put it in vertex form. Okay, in order to put it in vertex form, we have to put it in standard form first. Boo. Okay, let's put it in vertex form. Now, this negative, I'm just going to let him stay out there.
Right.
Let him stay. Let him stay. X squared, and then what?
Factor.
You're foiling, right?
What is that, 2?
X times x is x squared. Negative 4 times x, this is minus 4x plus 2x.
Negative 2.
Minus 2x, and then negative 4 times negative times positive 2 is, oh, minus 8. Minus 8, right?
Jeez.
Minus 8, yeah?
Calculator malfunction.
Okay, good? Happy with that? Yes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. Now, stay with me. Are you staying with me?
Yeah.
That negative, we're going to leave him off to the front because when you're completing the square, you have to have it just be x squared. So I'm not going to distribute the negative through. I'm just going to let him chill. So the whole way through, we're going to ignore the negative until the very end, right? But we're just going to tack him onto the front. So I'm going to do it like a big old fat bracket right here. So that negative needs to be multiplied by everything at the very, very end, right? So I have x squared minus 2x, and I would normally put plus blank. I'm still going to put plus blank, right? And then I keep the minus 8 on this side, but right here I put minus the blank, right? So whatever I'm putting in that plus blank, now it's going to be minus blank over there, right?
That part was outside.
It's on the same side, okay? This part right here is the trinomial that we're looking for, right? To break down. Okay, so this piece I want to break down into 2 pieces so that he can be written as this guy squared, right? X minus 1 and x minus 1. That will give me negative 2, yeah? Okay, so it's x minus 1 squared. What goes in this blank then? Negative 1 plus a negative 1 is negative 2. What's negative 1 times negative 1? Plus 1, right? So that means I have to minus 1 over here. So this guy becomes minus 9 again, right? But the only problem is I have a big old fat negative, right? Okay? Now, I'm not going to distribute the negative inside that parentheses. I'm just going to write it as negative parentheses x minus 1 squared. But the 9 becomes plus 9. Do you see that? This negative goes here and the negative goes there. So I'm just going to leave the negative out in front of that bubble. But then it becomes plus 9. That is your vertex form. What's the vertex of that thing?
9 and
1 comma 9, right? Yeah? Man, so to put it in vertex form, you have to complete the square. Yeah, kind of complete the square, where everything's on the same side.
Can we practice putting it in the
No,
other forms with
no,
normal numbers?
no.
Like the ones off of our homework?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Do the best
The
you can.
decimals were confusing.
Do the best you can. On Monday, we'll answer some questions. Hey there, girl.
Are we all done?
Are you bringing me things? Awesome. Okay. Okay, that's all I have. We'll skip the story problems because we're like gassed right now, right?
Yeah.
But we won't come back to them on Monday.
We'll skip them on the homework.
So is this due Tuesday then?
We'll do them probably together, I'm sure, on Monday.
It's
Okay.
Friday, everybody's tired.
All right. So get to going because I know that we're gonna have a couple questions on Monday. So at least get through the easy ones and whatever. Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else before I quit the video?
What is the point of transforming
All right.
it